tiny cabins, off-grid cabins, trailers, airstreams, geodomes, glamping experiences, canvas-sided tents. The world of unique accommodations is crazy and so exciting and a lot of fun to be involved in. And if you are either thinking about getting involved in the industry or maybe you're already involved, this video is specifically for you. It's a quick tutorial on how to actually rent out a unique accommodation and why now is the time to get involved in this industry. COVID-19 has made unique accommodations one of the #1 types of accommodations sought out by travelers, and you can both enjoy your tiny, unique space and make money while doing so, and that's exactly what this video is for. I'm Jordan Hipson. I'm an entrepreneur who has been managing vacation rentals for over 6 years, and I'm now developing my tiny off-grid cabin homestead resort in beautifully rural Nova Scotia and taking you along for the adventures. Today is more of a sit-down educational video where I am sharing my secrets of renting out unique accommodations. Take a page out of Airbnb's book and take a look at their social media presence. They're pushing out the unique accommodations more than anybody, and as we've seen in the past, they are damn good at creating travel trends. There are a lot of reasons to love the unique accommodation space, and as somebody who has managed hundreds of vacation homes, ranging from a little 150 square foot studio up to a 15,000 square foot oceanfront mansion, I can say without a doubt, unique accommodations are where it's at. And the reason why is clear for me. They are so thoughtful and purposeful. And purpose plus short-term rentals equals absolute magic. And what I mean here is that often unique accommodations are purposefully created. The creator has put the space together to be an experience for the guests. There are different touches and elements throughout the property that are purposely put in there to make people happy. Whereas a vacation rental in the traditional sense may be someone's cottage that they're renting out for extra money on the side. It wasn't created for the guest, it's just a byproduct of what they've already created. Purpose-built is created for the guest, and that is usually where beautiful things happen. They're also purposefully booked. As opposed to being one of 100 downtown modernly furnished condos available, your unique accommodation is the basis of somebody's trip. They have found your spot and they are now planning a trip based on your spot. That also does wonderful things for the local community, especially in the unique accommodation space. For example, my 160 square foot tiny cabin is located in what most locals would consider the middle of nowhere. But it's such a unique and fun opportunity, and it's only an hour away from the main metropolitan area here in Nova Scotia, that they're willing to travel out there and they're willing to experience the local community and contribute to that local economy as well. The other thing I like about unique accommodations is that they are typically more regulation proof, where many governments of all levels are putting regulations into place on what you can and can rent out on the short-term rental market. Often things like cabins or tiny homes on wheels or yurts or trailers are not regulated at all, both from a short-term rental perspective as well as a building permit perspective. So all in all, unique accommodations can be quite easy and fun to operate. Okay. Enough ranting about how much I love unique accommodations. Obviously, I own a tiny cabin, I love unique accommodations, and I think at this point, creating an Airbnb listing and taking professional looking photos, having clear lighting in those photos and showcasing the best angles of your property is a given. Airbnb makes it extremely easy to list your accommodation. And I will say, I'm pretty focused on Airbnb here because they've become the platform of choice for unique accommodations. That matched with the host guarantee, where they will compensate you for certain types of property damage, makes it the ideal platform for unique accommodations. I do occasionally accept direct bookings through Instagram messages from my Stay Oakland's Instagram handle, but that is rare. And thanks to Airbnb's new rule about 25-year-olds booking one-night stays in the next 14 nights. Like, way to kill our business, Airbnb. But something that cannot be overlooked when you're marketing your unique accommodation is setting the proper guest expectations. And so if your unique accommodation is exactly that, unique, the guest should know exactly why. At my tiny cabin, there are a couple things that I make sure guests know in the listing as well as in the listing rules, so that they have to basically click confirm before they can actually complete their booking. Basically, I want to make sure that I'm getting the type of guest that I want, and that's somebody who's relaxed and understands what they're getting themselves into. There are a couple of things about my tiny cabin that I make sure guests know prior to their arrival. And maybe your cabin or experience has something similar that you should be honest about as well. At the end of the day, it's going to get you a better quality guest that's looking for the exact experience that you are delivering. So in my cabin, the things to consider are that there is no hot water. There is a composting toilet, and therefore everybody must sit down when they're taking a pee. There is solar power. It's a battery and solar panels, and that stuff can die, although it hasn't happened yet, and I would be very sad if it did. There is no snow removal, and so you may be expected to shovel out your own vehicle or park at the end of my long rural driveway and walk in the winter if there was a snowstorm. And of course, if they didn't see it in the pictures, the bed is a loft, and therefore you must be willing to climb a ladder to get up to it. I take it to the next level. You can check out the link below to see my actual Airbnb listing and just how descriptive I actually get, but it is critical for me that my guests understand exactly what my experience is all about, again, ensuring I get great quality guests. I think that's why I've seen all 5-star reviews so far, which definitely makes me feel like I've done a good job. On top of being unique already by being small and situated in the middle of the forest, in the middle of nowhere, I've added even more unique details to my cabin to make sure it stands out amongst the crowd. Just like any new industry, we're going to see growth, we're going to see more of these types of properties hit the market in the years coming, and it's critical to make sure yours stands out amongst that crowd. So for example, I've included a projector with a 100-inch projection screen, and I've decorated my cabin with a completely unique flair, lots of antiques, vintage pieces, and pieces that I've sourced over the years to give it that homey feeling versus the sort of ultra-modern or Scandinavian style that I see most tiny cabins going with these days. Not that I don't love those styles, I totally do. There's just something about antiques that keeps bringing me back. With my tiny cabin, I made it feel more like a tiny house, and I sort of treat it like that as well. I want the finishes to feel like a home, but I want it to also feel like an adult treehouse, so some sort of intersection between those two. And at the end of the day, the most important piece of marketing is just making sure that you're infusing that essence of why you built this property or why you bought this property and why this project is important to you in your listing. Show people who you are, show them the experience that you have to offer, and be really honest about it. And you might be surprised on just how well your unique accommodation can perform. You may find it performing as well as some of your other real estate investments if you are invested in several different sectors. I love this space of unique accommodations and what it is allowing me to do over at Oakland's, my off-grid homestead resort that I am bootstrapping over the years. As I make money, I'm able to reinvest that money into my project until eventually I have a wilderness resort that is off the grid and full of unique, cool experiences. That's what I'm working towards, and I would like to know what you're working towards as well. So make sure to leave a comment below if you have a tiny cabin or a geodome or an earthship or a sailboat that you are renting or considering to rent. I think that it could be a great decision and a great way to get involved in the real estate market in 2021. There's no question unique accommodations are where it's at, so what are you waiting for? Make sure to check out my tiny cabin over at oaklands.ca. You can find me at Jordan Hipson on Instagram, and you can check out my website, jordanhipson.com. Make sure to check out my other videos as well, where I give you a tour of my tiny cabin and I show you all around my off-grid homestead and how I'm doing things like digging a natural pond and creating a solar power system. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button and I'll see you soon.